So there's been an idea going around that we're finally going to get some payoff to Eugene working on that ham radio that he has. All the scenes that we've gotten with him doing that we may actually get to hear Rick Grimes talk again, probably near the end of the season finale. Eugene, after all, has been shown working on the radio for a while now, and so far nothing's really come of it, story-wise anyways. It would be really strange if this just went nowhere. So I do expect something to happen soon, or eventually, be it possibly next season if not inside the finale. And some of the pictures AMC releases before the next episode airs, we have one where Eugene can clearly be seen working on some kind of radio. So if this was a plot point that merely served to introduce the Whisperers way earlier on, then the showrunner would have dropped it by now. But since we're still getting scenes, it seems like this will pay off at some point soon. If you remember, the entire reason Rosita and Eugene went out to the Whisperer territory was to attempt to make contact with other communities, to improve the radio transmission at that tower. And story-wise, that introduced the next big baddie, the Whisperers. But Eugene and Gabrielle have never contacted any other communities yet, so we're still waiting on that to resolve. I imagine a scene where Eugene gets the listening aspect of his ham radio to work and no transmitting so that he can't actually talk on the radio, since this would be more exciting if no one could talk to Rick if he's heard on the radio but only hear him. Of course, if they did hear Rick speak, they would also have to somehow find out where he was, or at least a general idea as to where you could possibly find him, since Rick could literally have gone anywhere in the country. So if we did hear something, it would be either Rick telling of a place that they have to go to, or someone talking about Rick being at a place. The big point I'm trying to get at here with a potential search party is that Michonne is leaving next season. Like, the actress is leaving because she wants an exit from the show. But Michonne as a character is going to need some very, very important reason to leave her two kids, Rick Jr. and Judith. Most of season 9, after all, has been showing her how protective Michonne has become of her family, ever since that flashback episode we got with Daryl and Michonne. So her leaving next season would be completely out of character unless it was for a very important reason. Like, perhaps she's going to look for someone like Rick, for instance. If Michonne heard Rick's voice on the radio, there's no way she'd be able to stay and not attempt to find him. Daryl would probably go as well. But of course, Daryl would probably not go for whatever contrived reason. Probably just to look after the communities and such, keep them all together. So what could happen is that we hear Rick's voice or someone talking about Rick, and we get that introduction to Rick still being alive. Everyone finds out, which I feel the group has to learn at some point. And at the same time, we get introduction from the Commonwealth, which is going to be the next big baddie after the Whisperers. The Commonwealth could have possibly taken Rick since they value people with skills in a variety of areas, such as leadership and other basic kind of skills. It would make sense that the group Jadis has been speaking to over the radio was the Commonwealth, since they seem to be a very organized group of people and very powerful. The Commonwealth, after all, is 50,000 people strong. I say this to introduce the Commonwealth because the Whisper arc doesn't have a lot of meat left in it. There are still some key moments to get to, of course, and they are very exciting, but we're nearly done. And would it be a smart move to introduce the next big thing, or at least hint at them for the future? Lay the groundwork, if you would. And this could very well be what Angela King is doing for the next future season, season 10, or even 11. And of course, we as an audience are going to need some kind of cliffhanger or setup for the next season. It could just be resolving the Whisperer situation. But hearing Rick Grimes talk over the radio will definitely renew interest for the show, if the last episode didn't do that already. It would make it seem like Rick is still with us, and it would also help resolve the mystery of where Rick Grimes actually went when he went into that helicopter, which of course we're going to find out in the movies. But of course, this would be a really good theory, but it's just a theory at that, and probably won't happen, at least not in the exact way we would expect it. Because while it would be exciting to hear Rick's voice over the radio, it also doesn't make too much sense since Andrew Lincoln really hasn't said anything or showed any interest in rejoining the show. He really just seems like he wants to direct it instead, or just, direct a few episodes. And the Rick Grimes movies aren't even released yet. They're going to be released in a few years. So you wouldn't want to spoil those movies. If anything Rick related is going to happen on the show, it's going to happen after the movies take place. That way the movies still have more drama and Rick's life could still be in danger. So Rick returning to The Walking Dead can't really be a plotline anytime soon, since we don't know how the movies are going to resolve themselves, and a whole lot of details of what time period the movies even take place. In the end, if it's not Rick's voice we hear eventually, it will be someone's, even Maggie, maybe signaling that she's going to return to Hilltop or something. Either way, Eugene's ham radio is going to give us something interesting in the end. It very well could just be contacting the Commonwealth in the season finale. But anyways, as always, make sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.